We are now broadcasting on X, aka Twitter. It's still Twitter. It's still Twitter. Right?
Yeah.
Do you say X
For
or
at
do you
least a
say
couple,
Twitter?
I still say Twitter.
What about you,
I
Z?
see X come up across like notification. I'm like, what the heck is that?
What about you, Z? What do you say?
He says Z.
He says Z. So we are live on X. We are Prefaces and References podcast on X. We are live on Rumble. We are live on YouTube, and we are live on Kick.
Sounds like we're live.
We are live everywhere. If you guys want to follow us on the comments, on the description, there's going to be our link tree to all of our platforms that we are on. There will be a Discord happening pretty soon. So if you guys want to go ahead and jump on there, talk to us, talk shit, all that good stuff right there, we will gladly accept it, and we will definitely respond to you in record time. Like instantly, as soon as they post it, that's when we will like respond right away.
Yeah, not a week or two at all.
Not a week or two at all. And it's the real us. It's no bots whatsoever.
Yeah, trust us.
Trust us.
You don't even know us, but trust us.
We're good at this. Today's topics, I will be talking about how far is it too far with war. All right. And you are going to be discussing?
I'm going to be talking about depression and ways to cope.
And Mr. Z, what are you going to be discussing?
You know, what's a coincidence?
What is a coincidence? That is very, very good.
I don't know what that is, but what's your topic, though?
Exactly.
So with that in mind, the letter Z, if you want to go ahead and pull up the little fancy graphics that you have. So. All right, so recently I decided to post.
Oh, wait, give it a second. All right, go ahead.
So recently I decided to post something on the Twitter because I saw our Lord and Savior, Kid Rock, Mr. Boycott Bud Light, but then like a week later continue to drink Bud Light. He was on Joe Rogan.
He's a true alcoholic.
Exactly, right? But then it's
He said screw cancel culture.
But it's shitty beer though. Like it's not even good beer.
Whoa.
Bud Light?
It's light beer.
There's better light beers.
Like what?
Like the Modelo Light.
Corona.
There's Corona. The Ultra. Michelob Ultra's hella good.
I don't know. People are gonna hate, but I know they taste different, but they kind of taste the same to me. So I'm sorry.
Yes and no. Like there's, I will kind of fight you on it. Like the light beers. Okay, the light beer is like
light
Bud
beers
Light.
Taste like light beers, dark beers.
Not really. The Bud Light just tastes like shit. Like it's just you have to mix it with something, dude. Like
because it's really light. Yeah,
no, it's just really shitty beer, dude. It's not good.
Okay, all right. I'll believe you.
Okay, thank you for.
What about you, Z? Do you agree?
Well, speaking from
enthusiast,
I have a friend who was a former male stripper, and he loved Bud Light. It actually helped him do his transition.
His transition.
His transition to what?
Curly hair, dark shirt. I don't know. Just he transitioned.
He's
drinking tea
before he didn't have
a
a shirt.
Yeah, well, he started drinking tea now instead of alcohol.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Well, good for him.
So recently he was on Joe Rogan, and he had something kind of controversial to say. So we were going ahead and pull up the clip real quick. We will listen to it. You guys will watch it live. It is on Twitter. I forgot who's the person that posted this specific clip up, but we will give you credit.
It's the channel called Breaking 911
There
with
you
the blue
go.
check mark because they paid for it.
Hey, I paid.
Don't judge our blue check mark because that's not how it works.
We earned
We
ours.
should get
All
blue
right?
check mark shirts.
Yeah, we
Oh,
should.
we should.
That
Or
way
you know
we're
what, like a blue
verified in
check
real
mark, like
life.
little
We're verified.
thing right there. Yeah. So Z, if you wouldn't mind, go ahead, pull up this video clip.
Watch as this video clip mutes our entire voices for no reason. And you watching that or you hearing this at home in the next couple weeks, it's really happened live. I'm sure you can hear it. 3, 2, 1.
They should just go in there and be like, you know what? We want our hostages back. If we don't have them back, clock starts now in fucking 24 hours. We're going to start bombing motherfuckers and killing fucking civilians. 30, 40,000 a fucking time. So you civilians better fucking pack up and fucking get these fucking motherfuckers and you go against Hamas. You fucking go against them. We're not playing fucking games with you. But that's
Yeah,
the
but the
only
problem
thing
is the
people understand.
civilians are
This is
not
what happened in
armed.
Nagasaki and Hiroshima. Boom! Just wiped out. They're like, oh, yes, we don't have Supreme Leader anymore. We did not know you had such big bombs.
Yeah, but everybody has big bombs now. The problem is you use a big bomb, you set a precedent that they can use a big bomb.
They don't have one.
Well, they don't, but their allies do.
Then we
That's
bomb
the real
fuck
problem.
out of them. Someone's gonna learn.
Yeah,
You
but
gotta,
that
you gotta get your
doesn't-
ass beat hard enough.
You can't just nuclear bomb people.
I didn't say
They'll
nuke 'em.
nuclear bomb you back.
No, I didn't say
Okay, you
nuke
said
'em.
Hiroshima and Nagasaki. I thought you meant it like
no,
that.
no, I was saying that just the brute force of strength used in those.
Yeah, but
conflicts.
even a conventional bombing campaign, if you want to do that somewhere, they can do that to your place. And this is what we have to
fuck
avoid.
around and find out.
Yeah, until someone launches nukes, and then we have our civilization is over. The world as you know it ceases to exist. There is no more electricity. Whatever tools you have or things you find, and a small percentage of us are going to make it to breed and then make new kids.
I like how
and
you
then
said
go
us.
out into the world.
I like you
There's
said.
very few people that are going to live, man.
Well, it's like me and you could probably
Maybe.
figure it out.
Yeah. I have chickens too. I have elk in the freezer too. But
You
that
can
freezer's
gut,
not
you
going to
can
stay
gut,
on.
You can gut an elk.
I've got an elk.
Yeah.
But that freezer's not going to stay on. So I'm going to lose most of my meat. Unless I turn it into jerky. You're going to have to do something to figure out how to fucking get by because the world is going to be different. You know, you're not going to have any electricity forever. For the rest of your life, there'll be no electricity.
Just throwing paint at the wall, but what if we empower the people of Palestine, who could be good people? I don't know.
Just
But
arm
last
them.
I checked, most of these motherfuckers hate us. But and I'm not saying all the people do. There's probably a lot that don't. Just like in Iran, the population is, because of the Iraq war, there's so many under 50 there. That's
I only have one screen. It would have been nice if I had another one. But we're back.
All right, so
Wait. There's a black screen. I don't want you to start talking. It cuts off. Oh, well, they're back. Okay, go ahead.
and just like that, we are back. So this clip right here was very controversial on Twitter, and I posted something equally controversial because it's kind of my view, which is very, very, very harsh. I'm not gonna lie. It's not a popular opinion.
You kid rocked.
I kid rocked. Literally, basically, I kid rocked. But my post was basically, is he wrong? You had to fight evil with evil. And I'm not necessarily picking sides. I'm not picking side on this war, right?
You know what I just realized? Not to interrupt you, but
Interrupt you.
I am going to interrupt you, I guess. Whoever's going to listen to this on Spotify is going to hear us talking in between the video. I just realized that. For you guys out there, you guys saw a smooth transition, I hope.
We
Sorry, my bad. Go ahead.
said a lot of racist
I saw
stuff.
a Rumble. It show us. You said it was a black screen, but we were moving.
So,
okay.
so basically, I kid rocked, right? Where I basically posted, is he wrong? You have to fight evil with evil, right? And I'm not saying I necessarily agree with the war that's going on right now. I'm not picking sides. It's not my fight. I only care about my country. I'm very isolationist like that. I don't want our people going out there and fighting for a war that, has nothing to do with us. But is he wrong? Like, when he said, you start bombing them, you start killing like 20, 30, 40,000 people to get your hostages back. And I just posted, like, you have to face evil with evil. And what is war? War is basically just two evils going at it. Whether you agree, if you're on your side or the other side, whatever, doesn't matter. It's just war is inherently a bad thing, right? But how do you stop it? How do you stop somebody that their sole existence is to like erase you from the face of the planet? How do you do that? Yes, I know there's the Geneva Convention, and there's stuff to do with like fight fair. But when the other side isn't fighting fair, why should you be limited yourself to fight fair?
Who says we fight fair, first of all?
It's what's shown.
Everybody.
I think we should start with that. Like,
Everybody on Twitter says that we need to fight fair.
okay, I'm gonna bite my tongue. Go ahead.
No, but he said who's saying we are.
Well, everybody. Okay, we're supposed to. We're supposed
everybody
to.
on Twitter said we're fighting.
Yeah,
fair.
everybody, we're supposed to be fighting fair. That's why they had the Geneva Conventions. That's why we have like the
only
war
Geneva I
crimes.
know.
What did she do? She stole 20 bucks from you, huh?
Mm-hmm.
So what do you do? You're a country. Like I said, I don't care for this whole war that's going on, and literally I can't even say it because we're on YouTube. But the one that's
you can say it.
no, we can't because they
No,
have
you can say it.
All right, fine. The Ukraine /
Why would
Russia
you
war,
say that?
and then the Jews versus the Palestinians. Like, like I don't care for those wars. That's not my war. Stop sending my money over there. Leave it to us. We could have ended a lot of homelessness. We could have ended like a lot of, we could have set everybody gone to school and stuff like that. With those billions and billions of dollars that we're sending over, they should stay here in our country. But where this isn't an isolationist country, but like I'm saying, like I don't support the wars. I don't care for them. But if somebody were to attack you, you're the president, right? They take a shit ton of hostages, right? And they aren't playing. They're not playing fair. They're not playing right. They're not fighting, by the Geneva Conventions. What do you do? And remember, their sole existence is to like destroy you. What do you do?
That's so tricky, just because we're part of the United Nations and whatnot, and we are like the leaders of, I guess, the New World, Free World, whatever it is.
We are one of the biggest
So
leaders.
somebody's got to be held to a standard. Unfortunately, it's us. But usually like the whole fire with fire thing, or that's you standing up to a bully kind of thing, works. But dang, this one's tricky, But I think I gotta go with Joe on that one. I did not Kid Rock, because he sounded impulsive. He sounded a little not on coffee,
Right.
So he was just like, whatever, these motherfuckers, because realistically that'll happen. Like, you go boom, that's gonna set off a series of chain reactions, and you're probably gonna kill a hell of our people in the progress. You got to do whatever you can to have as much damage control as possible. Because we could have done that a long time ago, and I'm pretty sure we can do some crazy stuff. But unless we can pretty much make sure that we are not gonna get nukes, turned around back at us, it's a real stupid thing to do.
I know, but like
just
I'm
to kind of end it.
which is true. Like I understand, but like I said, like at what point do you fight fair with somebody that's not fighting fair? Like if they're not fighting fair, why do you have to follow the rules? Your sole mission is to get back these hostages. Your sole mission is to protect your people.
I mean, it just depends on like I think it's because of the title that we hold, pretty much the stature of America.
Right.
Like I said, everybody's going to be watching. Everybody's holding us to a standard, including ourselves when people are watching. So
Thank you guys for watching us live right
so
now.
They you can't, because then everybody's going to hold it against you. All these other different countries, like you did some crazy reckless stuff.
Guys, remember, it's not a war crime the first time. All right. But
we get one accident.
We get one accident. Yes, but like I said, imagine like they took your loved ones. They're your people. They're not trying to negotiate. They're not trying to do none of this. They're not giving back your people. Yet they're still attacking. Right? They're still killing people on your side, right, over your borders, or however you want to describe it. Like you try to negotiate with them, but they want you dead.
Well, I think,
what do you do?
Well, already when that's happening, you should be returning fire and doing all that anyway.
Right.
My only thing is like the escalating of the nuclear bombs thing. That's the only thing. So you're definitely gonna go hard, but
all right, for my sake of this argument, let's just pretend there's no nuclear weapons, because like obviously like we can just destroy all of mankind like at a press of a button. Let's take out the nuclear weapons for right now, right? Because like those are obviously like the end all be all. That's like the last ditch decision. So
it's a cop out, but yeah,
exactly.
Let's do it.
Let's make this more of intriguing, conversation instead of like I got nukes, they got nukes, we'll just nuke each other.
You want me to kill people?
Yeah, exactly. No, I want you to admit that I'm right, that you want to murder people to save your hostages.
Sounds like a Z thing,
but because it's true.
Well, I mean, we're gonna do what we got to do, but I'm not trying to. My main thing is to mitigate as many, casualties that in like civilians that didn't do anything, innocent people,
right,
that don't want it.
But they don't care about. But they don't care about your innocent people. They murder your innocent people,
and that's the difference between us and them.
I mean,
if not, you just press the button and just boom, 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 boom. Try to be.
But like how Kid Rock
take the leaders. Kid Rock, no, I think is too aggressive.
But how Kid Rock said, like like that's what we did in Japan and stop the war.
That's the only thing that got the war. That's the only thing that got me going.
Well,
I was like, dang, I just seen Oppenheimer, and I was like, man, it worked. Has it been a while? Do we got to do it again? The only thing is back then though, also nobody else had them.
That's what
So
you think.
that's why it was saved.
I had them back then.
it-
I'm just kidding.
So it was erased, but now a lot of people have them, and I think as soon as one person does it, it's going to create a chain reaction for everybody else to do it.
And that's why I removed the nukes in this situation,
Yeah.
because like I said, it's so easy to like just nuke
Because
it.
they're already killing now, and if we do that, it's just going to be the same thing. But at that,
So
big
you would
level,
start. You would try to fight like morally to win a war
as much as you can.
when
yeah.
the other side isn't playing fair. You're basically they're like, here, you have a Glock while I have an AK. That's basically what they're doing to you. And you would say that you would gladly take that Glock and fight them with their AKs. But the Geneva Convention said that both of you guys are only supposed to use a Glock. And not only that, they have an AK. On top of that, they have body armor. You can't get body armor because it's not fair. Why are you protecting yourself? Let them fire their bullets at you. It's only fair. But yet they have their body armor.
I feel like you're trying to Z me today.
Because it's true. Like, it's like real life scenarios. And like I said, once again, because I feel like I have to say this all the time, I don't care for the wars. Okay, I don't support none of them. Everybody's killing everybody. Keep my tax dollars here. At least.
Yeah, go on.
No. I'm just watching him. I'm just watching him play with his nipples. And because weird though, because I'm looking at the camera, so they're thinking that I'm watching them play with their nipples.
All right, go
But
ahead.
anyways, yeah. So like, it's just because it's basically like it's based on real facts that's happening right now, like on the ground. Yes, we're doing up a hypothetical war right now, because I don't want to use like examples, but like it's real world scenarios that's happening right now.
Yeah, I think there was also like an update saying that I think people are like, at least NATO, some of the people like I think France are like prepping to probably send troops to Ukraine to which is be a separate one, and so Moscow is pretty upset. Things might pop off.
Well,
Whatnot, so
what they're
some
saying is that
things
they're
going
getting
on.
ready to invite Ukraine into NATO, and Putin's already warned, like, you do that and you're done. But then again, we kind of seen his threats.
Yeah,
And like, yeah.
It's like that meme that.
But
sorry.
really,
Now you want the rest of NATO to join? You want us to actually fight with them instead of giving weapons.
so you'd fight a moral war against a
As
non-moral
much-
enemy.
as much as possible.
When's the breaking point? When is too much too much?
Probably when they do like a real big one, because I think, well, at least when it comes to America, like I think that's probably why, because I'm thinking like on America's part, like we don't lose that many people because we think tactically, not like Kid Rock.
Yeah, we
No,
use
but if there was-
$100,000 Predator missiles to bomb.
It's fine. We make.
Or you pull out of Afghanistan like in 2 days and leave everything
right.
behind
and
with
then-
all the instruction manuals
and then what
in their
happened?
language and
What
everything.
happened after we left?
From Iran.
You powered the Houthis to be able to bomb
Afghanistan
us
and all
and take
that.
down our.
Yeah, they
ISIS-
literally
they
like
took
ISIS.
over, like, instantly.
Literally, we replaced ISIS with ISIS. We
Yeah.
literally like
No.
Because
Better
we pulled,
armed
because we
ISIS.
pulled out.
Yes, we pulled out,
Yeah.
and our pull out game was not strong.
And that's
all
why.
right?
And that's why we don't pull out. See, that's why we got to be there.
I mean, that's definitely true. Especially when you start the war, when you're the reason why the war started. Hey. Why did we start the war?
9/11.
So who did 9/11? And don't say the Jews.
Oh my God, is this a conspiracy theory?
Yes. Who started the war? Who started
I
9/11?
want to bring back conspiracy theories so bad.
Sorry,
I'm interested.
Canada.
Who's
Is that what you're trying to say? It was Canada.
yes, it was kind of damn Justin Trudeau.
Dang it!
I knew it.
It was a bunch of Saudis.
Look at the eye on Tennis Cup.
Right?
It's just Illuminati, right? Look at he's drinking right out of it.
No, but anyway,
If you guys are watching, this is if you want to side with him. Now you know what side he's on. He's on the Illuminati. Don't fight. Eat bugs.
Hey, leave Big
Don't
Brother
own
alone.
anything.
no, but okay. So
Rothschild died at 87.
So let's bring it back.
87 divided by 3 is 6. 666. It's the monster.
You know what? That is not fair. All right, my taxpayer money went to fund all these freaking people in ISIS. They're using better guns than what I have. I don't want to hear the government telling me that
this is your segment.
I'm
This is your
irresponsible.
segment.
I'm
Shut up.
irresponsible with my guns.
This
all
is
right?
your segment. Don't bleed into mine. Which is exactly what I was doing to you.
Please don't.
So you were trying to. So when they do a catastrophic event is when you're like, okay, the gloves are off, and
Yeah.
When it's too late, basically.
basically.
I like it.
Basically.
That's a good idea.
All right. Well, I mean,
Only because we're America.
Yeah, when your
I-
kid get ran over, you're like, all right, let's arrest this guy.
But realistically, like what America kind of does is pretty
we
much
take over oil.
pretty much
I mean,
what's,
we give them
for
freedom.
what's being shown, because I'm pretty sure there's a lot of stuff going on underneath behind the media.
Have you not seen Sicario? It's the perfect representation of what the United States does and the CIA.
Exactly. That's why.
That's such a good movie, though.
So you just have to aim for the top of the head. You know, get a
If
whole
you guys
bunch of
like
leaders.
shopping at Banana
I
Republic,
think that's
remember
one of the
the
best
CIA
things
did
you
it
got to
first.
do. You cut off the top of the head. You're gonna delay them for a while. It's gonna be crazy or whatnot, but at least you'll stop them from doing that crazy stuff. So realistically, I think that should be one of the first things to do. Keep taking off, the leaders or whatnot before something like that happens.
All right.
Because once the leader's gone, they're all gonna panic, not know what to do. Instead of a leader that's crazy, I'm like, yeah, press the button.
Every leader's crazy though when you push them that far.
Yeah, but some people are just cowards though too.
Nope, the president.
Don't want to be there.
Like Saddam Hussein, he was ready to press every button he had, but
Yeah.
all his generals were like,
Yeah,
nope.
but I'm talking about like when you kill them off.
Yeah.
like somebody has to be a leader, and you don't know who the next one is.
Well,
Like,
CIA knows.
Fuck, I just got here. It's my
Nope,
first day.
Nope, CIA has a list of them ready to go. They
All right, letter Z.
No,
what do you
they
think?
don't.
I've been waiting for this. Look at the camera, baby.
He goes, I think it's time for my
I control
segment.
this. No, I'm just kidding.
There's a lot of white stuff around the laptop.
The nuclear bomb is not needed to win a war. In Japan's case, it was not needed to win. It didn't tilt the scales that far forward because they were already retreating back to Nagasaki. They were already going back inwards. We were planning a full measure scale of attack to take over the entire country, even though they predicted thousands and hundreds of thousands of casualties. They went
You seen
ahead to
Oppenheimer
create
too?
what? They created the bomb not because they needed to. Is because they were convinced, they were sold the idea that if we don't, someone else will. Which
Exactly.
there's some evidence saying that could have happened, but it's up in the air. So
Right.
nuclear bombs, like Kid Rock is saying, won't always solve the problem.
Well, he
And
didn't say
may
anything
not.
about nukes, but
Right? No, he
No,
didn't.
no,
He
no,
said
sorry,
bomb
yeah,
them.
no, he
he
did.
said bomb them.
he did. No, he said.
And then
what we did
afterwards, they
Nagasaki.
brought up the nuclears. The bombs. He was like, "Well, I mean, we could." I mean,
Right,
But
right.
nukes aren't needed.
They're not.
But any country,
Hey, don't say
any
that.
any region that's
That's
losing,
why I took it off the table.
any region that's losing
sudden.
is gonna probably pivot to them pretty quickly. That's what's gonna happen, right?
Yeah.
But I think that when people say America doesn't fight dirty, we're the dirtiest of all the countries when it comes to fighting. We're the dogs, and we learned a lot when we got our ass handed to us when we went to Vietnam. After
I just have one question for you. Are you looking at the screen of when you're talking to us?
well,
or?
yeah, I'm looking right at you guys.
Instead of looking at us. Okay.
You guys don't see it?
I'm just. It'd be
Alright.
nice to see your eyes. Anyway, continue.
You'll see it in a week after we get these shorts out. Anyways, Vietnam taught us a lot of lessons. We brought a lot of that guerrilla warfare back. In fact, we're the reasons why the Nicaraguans were so good at infiltrating their own
Are
government.
you allowed to say that word?
Oh,
Is
yeah.
Is that what you're supposed to call them?
Yeah, Nicaraguans. Yeah, Nicaraguans. So they were fighting their own country, but CIA funded everything. The Banana Republic, who was that? That
That's
was
a good
CIA.
store. Nordstorm and all them.
Yeah, they were great at killing people and beheading their own people just to make sure that no one gets better raises. So, or living wage. The CIA ensures that we don't lose any war, but it also ensures that we never have our foot off the gas. So when you're saying like, I don't know if America would be a villain, I'm like, we already are. But we're on. We
on camera as well. As
we
said,
are protected by the stormtroopers and Darth Sidious and Darth Vader. We're happy. You don't want to be the rebels. It sucks to be them. They're hiding in caves. Those monsters that
That's
eat
what I'm
people.
saying. If you do a nuclear bomb, everybody's gonna know it was us.
Well, not
We do things under the scenes.
we're not the only ones that have nuclear weapons.
Well, no. So unless we can convince somebody
Well,
else, to
would
do
we
it.
be the first to launch it? That's a whole other discussion.
Did you know we dropped a bomb on ourselves? We dropped a nuclear bomb on ourselves.
In Arizona, that's why everyone there has a third eye.
testing?
No, we were in where was it? I think it was Georgia, right?
If you guys are listening and you have some input, put it in the comment section.
So what would you do?
You bunch
Is-
of idiots.
So
Yeah,
what
how
would
you
you do?
gonna escalate?
Z? Like I know you're talking a little bit more about other stuff, but what would you do? Like, do you face evil with evil? Like if you're the leader of this said country and another country right next to you is attacking you,
I would be like Putin. I'd make sure my reputation's
you say
clean and beautiful.
You'd be
And
thirsty.
And
keep
then I
making
would
threats.
do my best to do the diplomacy while at the same time killing journalists everywhere and destroying my competition.
Hey, they had a blood clot.
And keep
All
making
right.
threats. Like if you guys keep doing this,
And eventually, I'm going to go through with it, but at least I won't look like the evil one. I'll make sure that the world's people that are part of your government don't support you because I've already said that I wouldn't do it. But you guys have forced my hand to. I've given plenty of chances. So then when the people go into try to actually wage war, your soldiers are going to betray you and say, no, we don't want to fight a country that doesn't want to fight us. And I'm just like sitting there going, oh, this is my plan all along. I always wanted to beat you guys. But now you guys helped me do it.
cause civil war. And unrest.
It's almost like he worked for the KGB and he was like,
So can you stop
basically the
using Putin
CIA
as an
guy.
example? And what would you do?
Exactly what Putin's doing. He's going to launch nukes. He's going to fight. He's going to do his thing, but he's going to make sure that everyone's on his side.
So that's
He even turned people that are on the right.
So
of our political
so
spectrum.
they're using
on his side.
nuclear, weapons, and they're killing us like
They will.
crazy, and you're just gonna keep talking to them,
They will do that.
So basically,
that's your answer?
so to
Yeah.
get back your hostages, you would be
talking to them.
you'd just talk to them and
Like
threat.
Putin. Putin's not just talking to him; he's killing people actively all the time. What are you talking about?
So that's
So you're gonna kill people.
Yeah, you start proxy wars and everything. Yeah, that's what you do.
So the country already invaded you. They attacked you, and they retreated back
Okay,
to
now
their
I'm getting
country.
confused. Am I Ukraine in this situation, or am
No,
I?
I never said anything about Russia. You're the one that's talking about Russia.
Okay, so give me the example again, because I really like the way Russia's approaching it. That's what I'm saying.
The example is
The Hamas.
you
and
are country
Israel,
Z,
right?
and then country Tena attacks
Oh, they're
your
dead.
country.
They're dead. I'm
They-
launching 3 nukes right now.
So right,
I know they're not going to attack. They're good guys.
So
I
So
destroy them.
your country is getting attacked by the neighboring country. They killed a shit ton of.
How attacked? Like Gaza attacked?
I'm
or
trying to explain, but
Okay.
you keep on interrupting.
Okay, go ahead. You're just taking a while. Okay.
calm your
It kind of
ADD
feels
out,
like
sir.
that's what you do. That's weird.
I know. I don't like when they do it to me. Go
All
ahead.
right. So this country is attacking your country. They invaded your country. They killed 5,000 people and they took back hostages. And this country that did this to you plays dirty, doesn't play that by the code, doesn't play by the rules. But you have to because you're part of NATO, yada yada, this and that. But they keep on attacking
He
you.
hates that part.
Yeah, he does.
Oh, wait, are they attacking me directly or are they attacking
Yes.
proxy nations?
They're attacking you directly.
Because I don't see
They're already
Russia
there.
attacking America right now.
We're not talking about Russia.
Then what
Talking about
country?
you, your country.
Your country.
Oh, okay.
The neighboring country is attacking you. They took your hostages.
Who am I supposed to be though? Ukraine or what?
You can be
You.
whoever you want to be, but
Okay.
stop naming nations.
He's like, I don't know how to be myself. I'm sorry.
I don't know what to do. All right.
Give me-
I only know what.
give me
All right,
something
stop
to
right
be-
there. I know what I would do then.
Okay, what do you do?
Okay.
Like Kid Rock said.
I'm the leader of the NATO nations, right?
No,
no.
You're just you. You're just your country.
Then how the hell? I'm just a small country.
No, you're
You-
part. You're part of NATO.
You said I was the one in charge. Why are you lying?
I didn't say you're the one in charge. I said you're part of NATO. It's your country that's being attacked, though.
And I'm part of NATO.
You're part of NATO because you have to follow the rules.
Great. Then I go meet with the White House. I go set up a bunch of deals that I'll give you my people's lives and souls. Bring the CIA in and kill every one of these people that are trying to invade my country, and they will be good.
I'm not
We-
trying.
We are
they
the
did,
ones that
and
sent
they have
them to you.
hostages.
Right. Well, okay. All right, CIA. We have hostages too. But did I mention that? We need them back too. Otherwise, I won't get elected next year. So I need you. And here's everything that my country is worth: all their resources, all the people, their soul, their children, the next 100 generations. Here they are for you to feast on. Just don't let these guys win because I have an ego and I don't want them to beat me.
So don't
And
let
then
us
NATO
win, but you can
sends in-
kill off all my people, and
Well,
you
hey,
own us.
Whatever the CIA thinks
but
is
just
correct.
leave me in charge.
Never bet against the CIA or the IRS, and they're basically best friends.
All right, so then you'd basically start an undercover war.
Yeah, and I
I
would
don't.
win it.
I don't think it's gonna be that undercover.
Yeah, well, I would win it. That's all that
He's
matters.
gonna post on Twitter like, "Guess what I did? I'm not telling though."
Yeah,
Okay, you got to start a podcast though.
that's right. That's like the Ukrainian president. Exactly.
He's
I
gonna
mean,
tell, he's gonna tell his
he's
people
not gonna
only
lose.
only 90,
So
only
while
like 90%
while
of
you
are
other
gonna make
NATO
it.
nations are struggling to pay the bill and keep the lights on, I'm getting $9 billion every couple months, and I'm living it up, baby. Yeah, I'm going like this with my nose in interviews all the time, and Bill's like, "What's wrong with him? He must be under a lot of stress."
a lot of stress. He's under the same. He's
goes-
under the same stress that Hunter Biden's under.
That's right. So you enjoy paying for my war because I won't even have to fight it. Really, all the soldiers you see that have my flag on there really have like other accents from other countries.
He's gonna be like the Ukraine, the Russian pilot that switched sides.
Which
The
one was
one
that?
that had the helicopter, led his team over to the Ukraine, and then they killed his team, and he switched sides to get like $1 million.
I didn't see that story right there.
What? I'm
Yeah.
surprised you wouldn't hear about that.
But he got
I
$1 million,
did-
right?
Yeah, and they just killed him a couple months ago.
No, well, you know.
They-
But he got $1 million though,
they-
right?
They assassinated him. in
But
Spain.
he got $1 million, all
They
right.
did. They did.
Maybe he played double sides. Too bad.
I mean, he died rich.
Yeah.
You know, he didn't.
That's-
You know, Jeffrey Epstein didn't die rich.
He didn't die rich.
So I'm just telling you.
Yeah, sure.
There's
sure he
different
did.
ways to die out there.
Sure, he did.
All right, so basically, you start an undercover war with the help of the CIA.
100%. Yeah.
Jeffrey Epstein.
Yeah. The CIA is doing that to American citizens anyway. So I mean, like, whose side are you gonna be on? Do you want to like hunt for rabbits out in the woods, or do you want to live in an underground bunker with like soldiers protecting you with food and water?
I mean,
You want to be like Oprah, or do you want to be you?
You do kind of bring up a good point, and I hate that that's how you went there because I wanted you to side with the murdering part, with the mass murder part.
What happened?
Oh well, his thing makes a lot of sense now that I think about it.
What,
So
manipulate America and to do it for him?
yeah, because I mean
100%.
that's actually pretty smart.
I feel like
That's
that,
like that's
I feel
like
like
very
that shouldn't be an
smart.
option because that's totally going to be.
But
a
it
him
is
thing
for
to
every
just
country.
cop out.
That's the exact option you
All
have.
right, you're America now.
Okay.
He's gonna do the same thing
give
we're
them-
doing.
same-
I
now.
give them $90
Same-
billion dollars,
same
so they
situation.
become my. I own every resource that country's worth. I
And
own
they,
their people,
and then they do it.
and
they
then I
do
send my people out there, my CIA agents, and I'm like, guys, I really want them to resolve the issue.
Yeah,
and
but
I'm like, hold
it's-
on, I got a phone call. And I'm like, hey, yeah, Marlon from the CIA, I need you to make sure you kill these guys before the interview's over.
it. Exactly.
Oh, they're dead already? Okay, cool. Yeah,
Also-
we're looking really hard. to
Also,
start.
we lost 2 nuclear bombs.
We don't know
Lost
what
them.
happened to it, even though we took the cores out and we just, they're gone.
I know they got a sudden, influx of resources and money, but I don't know why they shot nuclear bombs.
I
that
don't know
said
why
US
you're struggling
that
to pay
said
your bills
US
every
on
month
them.
as a struggling retired Navy officer or as a police or as a normal citizen. But I can tell you, Ukraine's going to win this war. Like, that is what I would do if I was president.
By like Monday around 2 p.m.
Dude, the CIA have lasers on Putin's head every day, every minute of the day. Like,
He's walking around. With
yeah,
stuff.
there's a lot of flies in this room. Yeah, you don't have to worry about that, bro.
I hate-
When the CIA is on your side, you're gonna win. Just don't be on the other side of the
I
CIA.
hate that you made so much good sense. I don't like that because now I want to change my answer because I went from like a murdering asshole to like play.
That was your
like,
instinct, like crazy.
It was so.
I like how there was like 3 different answers though. You're just like,
I mean,
fucking
which is-
kill, and I'm like try to do the right thing here. Like, I'm not gonna. I'm gonna be in the background. I'm gonna let them kill for
Yeah,
me.
why would you get your hands dirty? Why would you ruin your presidential aspirations? Why don't you be like Trump and say like, I want to end this war. I don't know what's going on. And then meanwhile he
Sweeps
goes.
under the rug.
Why do you think he golfs so calmly? He has nothing to worry about. He knows the CIA has it handled.
Take a picture. I love Mexican food.
Yeah, the moment you're like, I'm gonna tell the people the truth. Well, guess what? They're gonna. Why don't you put the top down on your car and go to Texas?
Right?
We have a grassy knoll right over there. Like, no.
And it's definitely gonna be like one person that bought a rifle off of
Bro,
a
the CIA
magazine.
controls the cartel. They control the mafia. They control every evil
Hey,
organization.
that was a legitimate Fast and Furious
right,
operation.
right.
all
Of
right?
course, of course. They control every evil organization.
You know
that
about Fast and Furious, right? You know about Fast and Furious, where the CIA
they even
sold
control the devil worshippers. They control everything.
the CIA.
Lizard people,
Hey,
mutant babies,
see,
Pizza Hut. They control everything.
CIA sold the cartel a bunch of our weapons, like a shit ton. Why? Because they made it want to look like the cartel were coming over to the United States to buy the weapons here and then take them over to Mexico.
I mean, why do you think the cartel was so afraid when they killed American citizens? They put out their own people. They're like, "We're my bad." Put a sign on them, like you can take them.
I mean, that is true,
Bro, that's their money.
Wait, say it again.
There was
Yeah,
an incident that happened in Mexico where they shot up a vehicle and they took 2 people hostage, and apparently they were there on vacation. They had nothing to do with they had nothing associated with the drugs or anything like that, and so they actually killed like just American citizens and took them hostage. And then next thing you know, like not even a week later, like the cartel tied up the people that did it. They tied them up and like set them right there on the road, and they wrote a nice letter of apology to the United States. Be like, oh, like this, they acted up under their own ruling. Here they are, do what you gotta do with them.
Gave
So-
up their
That's
people.
power, and
Yeah.
that's the CIA, baby.
I mean, when you have that much,
Thank
What,
God.
like the cartel apologizing.
the
Yes,
cartel
they
apologized.
apologized.
Yeah,
No.
which I've
The leader
never,
of the cartel
I've never
was-
seen
I'm
that
sorry.
happen.
It's
I've
America.
never seen
I'm
that
sorry.
happen, but
I'm sorry. We're evil, but you guys are the devil. We don't want to
I'm
get
sorry,
him.
we killed 2. You can take these 4.
And if you need any more, let us know. We're so sorry. Let us
that's basically
live.
how it was.
Just let us keep drugging.
Bro, you don't mess with the CIA, all right? You, as an American citizen, don't mess with the CIA. Nobody messes with the CIA.
Just say USA. Come on.
So,
USA.
yeah, whatever they
USA.
want. Yeah, I mean, whatever they want.
All right, well,
And if I'm getting invaded and it's from the enemy, I'm like, yo, guys, what's up? What's going on? This is good. I want to be really honest. We don't have a lot of resources, but we got a shit ton of oil. You can have it all. All right?
we need
Just
your,
make sure this guy doesn't beat me my next election.
we need
and I'm
you
good.
to we need you to come bring freedom down upon us.
That's right. Take my people. I don't care.
All right, well, and that was
Not like they voted for me.
that was a very interesting topic.
So
I
who
mean,
won? Vote in the comment section, guys. Who do you think won?
honestly, you did. I'm not even gonna lie. You actually won that one right there. That you put up a. Did not know what we were talking about in the beginning because I don't know where you were putting. You were so. All right. Well, with that being said, we are about to transition.
I'm about to get depressed.
Woo! CIA
Yeah.
straight into depression, baby.
Boom. Go.
Oh, sorry. I'm gonna 1, 2, 3.
We don't know when we're waiting for it.
We're back.
Hey. All right. So I wanted to talk about depression today and some ways to cope with them. Um, I know myself, I don't know about you guys, but yeah, depression is definitely a huge thing nowadays. Probably even for a while now, but I've been through depression a lot in my life. I think just the past couple months ago, it was, really bad. I was diagnosed with a major depression, severe depression. And yeah, that shit can take a toll on you. And I see it a lot. I've talked to a lot of people about it for themselves and myself. And I just feel like it affects so many people. And that's something that we need to acknowledge and work on. Um, Before I get into a couple of these things, I'm going to just read down what the World Health Organization's got it as and some symptoms. And I want to see if you guys experience anything like this. All right, so it says some of the key facts. Depression is a common mental disorder. Globally, it's estimated 5% of adults suffer from depression. More women are affected by depression than men. Depression can lead to suicide. You got to do the whole suicide prevention.
And now that he said that right there, guys, the National Suicide Hotline is 988. It is not worth it. Don't ever do it. Suicide is a temporary solution. Well, how's that code go? It's a temporary solution.
Temporary solution to a permanent solution to a temporary problem.
Oh, there you go. Yeah, that's right there. It's never worth it. You're thinking that you might not be worth it, but you're worth it to your family, everybody around you. It's not a you thing. You affect literally everybody around you.
Yeah.
Everybody around you. Trust me, it's not worth it. It's think about your family, think about your closest friends, think about what you're gonna put them through. So it's not worth it. Once again, the National Suicide Hotline is 988. Reach out to your friends, reach out to your family, people out there right now that are listening. If just talk to your homies, call them up, see like, hey, how are you doing? Just be that voice of reason. It's not worth it. So with that right there, I just wanted to mention that real quick. I
appreciate that. And coming from, at least I don't know about you guys, but I've struggled. That thoughts like that happen a lot. Still here. So heck yeah, it ain't worth it.
Did you need bullets? Okay.
The whole laws and stuff happening.
Yeah, okay.
I'm not gonna let you be a quitter.
Right? Because quitting's for losers. You're not a loser.
So
they're just jokes, guys. Don't do it.
Yeah, definitely don't. So it ranges anywhere between mild to severe. All right. So some of the things that it does, or it causes persistent sadness, loss of interest in activities. So like things that you used to do, like I know I used to do a lot of things growing up, a lot of hobbies, and then you go through life, a lot of shit happens, and then suddenly you're not doing everything you used to, the things that kind of make you happy and make you you. And for the past couple months, I've been kind of like re-putting stuff back into place, like re-being me. And it's go ahead.
Do you feel that way because you feel like, what's the point? Like why do something that like makes me happy if I'm not gonna be happy? Like, is that why like you stop doing the things that make you happy? Like, do you feel like what's the point in it?
I'm not sure, man. I think you just overwhelmed and you just kind of get exhausted with everything and you just don't do it. It's like you want to do it or you want to do it, but then you just don't. It's just like things don't matter as much anymore, which is like a huge thing. Before I get more into that, you get feelings of worthlessness, your appetite changes, you're tired all the time. Just you want to be alone even though you want to be around people. It's just, I don't know, man. It's like an emotional roller coaster ride because usually that kind of comes off with anxiety. And I know I talked about anxiety about 2 weeks ago, but it's just like the extreme highs and lows. It's like, you probably used to be an extroverted person and you just want to be introvert all the time. You don't want to mingle. You don't want to do the things that make you happy, and you don't know why, and you can't do shit about that. Or, you get those thoughts of, like, you don't fucking matter. What you do doesn't matter. Even if you're doing hella shit, but those spikes just, just get you. But, it's crazy. You can't hate me on that. I just didn't want to anymore. And it's like, I want to, that was me, but it just,
right.
It just comes at a loss. And I've been, myself personally for like the past couple months, like when I've been getting back into music, I've been getting back into drawing.
What's the music?
Writing too as well. Say again?
What's the music?
What's the music? Well, I'm definitely trying. I'm talking about like actually listening to it more like I used to. Music has been a huge thing in my life. Helped me get through hella stuff. It just stuff you can relate to, stuff that makes you feel good. It has a good power over your emotions or whatnot.
But what's,
So
what's your go-to?
oh man, now I'm trying to be more positive. So I actually got like a huge playlist that I made. So I got depressing stuff to kind of
Right.
acknowledge my
You
thoughts,
need
but
your
then
depressing stuff. Yep.
but then I'm like, you know what? Sometimes I'm like, all right, that shit gets too carried away. You get too caught up in the zone and all depressed. So I'm like, all right. So I try to change to positive stuff or more like workout stuff.
Okay.
I got like a workout list because it makes you pump, makes you kind of more motivated and want to do things. And then some like songs that have like more of a happier vibe or more of a positive.
You know what songs I
message.
like that you play?
Which
The
one?
ones that drowned out Z's voice in the
Those are
back seat.
Those are the great ones.
And it's so weird because
oh,
like
that was okay. And it was
yeah,
screaming
because you
stuff.
can feel
were
the
driving.
fact that he's like about to blow up.
Acknowledge me.
Yeah.
yeah.
Okay, so you get into
What
your music, drawing.
Yeah, so pretty much anything, the way I feel like, anything artistic, whatever can help you release your pain and be you. And that's why I feel
Usually
like
when I want to release, I just use lotion.
that's like that quick dopamine fix.
Right, exactly.
Then it comes back. You're like, oh my God, what am I doing?
And that's why you go at it again. You never stop.
You can only go so many times, bro.
You can, but then remember what we said, like only quitters are losers, So
Oh, I thought you said only spitters. Or
that too,
What do you do for yourself? I mean, to
when I'm feeling like depressed and in a dark mood, it's always
before like what do you do to solve it? Like what do you feel like? That same question you asked, like how do you feel?
what
Have you ever experienced depression?
not severe depression, but I do get it like in my like when the time of the month comes, then I feel like shit, it's mainly like so when I do get like in a depressed mood and a depressed feeling, like I just
What thoughts run to your head?
it's more like damn, this is a good question right here because I try not to think about it. It's just like a more of like why am I doing what I'm doing? Like is there really a point to what I'm doing? Like that's what I think about.
Now,
Like I say, it hasn't been too
like overall in life or for your life.
like overall in life. Like is the decisions that I'm making now like are they worth it? Like the path that I went down in life, is it worth it? Like could I have done anything different? Should I have done anything different? What would have my life been if I would have done this instead of that? Like like when you start thinking about stuff like that, the one that gets me the most right now is like that gets me like very in my emotions is time passing by and like watching my daughters grow. Like it's a happy feeling, but I hate it. Like I hate it because I'm knowing that like that every single day that goes by, like the way she mispronounces words, are not gonna be like that anymore. Her little playful actions now, are not gonna be like that anymore. So like it's nice that I see them evolving from these my little semen demons, into like more demons. Like I like seeing that, like they're becoming their own people, but at the same time and they're not even that old. Like my oldest is 4, the other one is about to be 3. I'm happy my new one is gonna be here around August, September. So I'm gonna get to relive that right there. But I just don't want those memories that I cherish now of them being young and wanting
Like
me.
you're thinking too much ahead of the future.
Yeah, exactly. I'm thinking like how are they gonna be? What's the future gonna be like? Am I gonna parent them right? Am I doing the right decisions now to impact their future later? Like when I start thinking about that stuff right there, that's like when I get in my feelings. And usually when that happens, like I just my go-to thing is I work out. So that's what I do right there. I used to draw also, but now I don't have time to draw. And because if I sit down to draw, like my drawings take like 8 to 10 hours that I have to do. Because like if I stop doing it, if I stop drawing my drawings, I never go back to them. I never finish my drawings because like I'm like because I start drawing because I'm feeling some type of way. I'm in a certain type of mood or whatever like that. So like that I
think it's good. I think you got ADD. I think it's the same.
That
like
also,
you just kind of like do sporadic stuff and then you're like move on to something else and you forget about it and you come back. It's almost like doing it in patches and whatnot.
Yeah, basically
something that I got from Z, which kind of helps because I haven't wrote shit down in like forever, but I started to do that now. So if I get an idea or something like that, I'll just start writing it down and eventually I'm gonna get busy or something's gonna happen. I'll forget about it. Like I do have like a notes, like little note pages of like a lot of drawings and art that I want to do.
Yeah.
But I wrote it down to keep at least the detail, the description of what I'm trying to do before I forget. Because if not, usually I like I'm drawing it in my mind and I'm trying
Yeah.
to remember it and describe it. So now I'm just trying to draw it, like write it out as best as possible so that I can like trigger everything. And I was like, all right, when I draw it, I'm gonna do it like that.
Yeah.
You know, but yeah, working out, that's like a huge one.
That's
you
like
know.
the best one right there. Like, cause like you just like you substitute your mental pain with physical pain, you know, and like
Instead of taking it out on anyone else, but
instead of taking it on your wife because she did not add the right amount of mayo, I tell her both sides of the bread. All right, I want the part where it touches the meat and the part that I have to grab. So I want my hands full of mayonnaise, but she doesn't
They
listen.
don't teach how to make sandwiches like they used to.
They don't, and it's my fault because apparently I don't know how to clean. I don't know how to eat clean, you know, and I get the mayonnaise everywhere. But yet, you know, and anyways, I was gonna go to the joke right there that talk about my mayonnaise and my semen demons. But yeah, no, that's what I do right there. It's the drawings and then working out. That's like I have to keep. I have to keep myself like mentally and physically like doing something, or else you know then like my mind gets the best.
Definitely can't stay still.
Yep.
I think that's one of the biggest things when you're alone in your thoughts. Huge. You got to keep yourself as distracted as possible. Now, it took me a while because man, those would be crazy. I have some really sad nights. You know, I think especially when you become a father, it kind of activates more. Like you know, you start thinking about all these things, kind of like you were saying. Like as they're getting older, I remember the first night, at least of with my kids, especially like my firstborn, I bawled for like 30 minutes or an hour.
Yeah.
There's this song by Brad Paisley called Anything Like Me.
Yeah.
And I was listening to it like prior to him being born.
Yeah.
And then I was like listening to it on repeat and I was just crying. It was like, what's wrong? I'm like, I don't want him to grow up.
Right.
Like, I don't. And now he's 11 and she's 9. And yeah, it goes by real quick.
It's
It's
weird though because now that you have children, music hits you harder.
Yeah.
Like it really does. Like for instance, like the one song that used to hit me, like because I would think about my family, is that one song I forgot. Damn, who sings it? But it's the Cat in the Cradle, Silver Spoon, Little Boy Blue, and the Man in the Moon. When you coming home, Dad? I don't know when.
Nursery rhyme kind of thing.
No. It's not nursery rhyme. It's Let me look it up real quick, but it basically goes like, and the cat's in the cradle and the silver spoon, little boy blue and the man in the moon. When you coming home, Dad? I don't know when, but we'll get together then. That's how it goes, right? Because it's basically telling the story about the dad. He's not there for his son because he has to work. He has to go on a business trip, you know. So he wasn't there when he was born. Then he's in the middle of the song. He's not there because he has to work. He still has to do all that sort of stuff. The end of the song, he switches up the lyrics where he says, "When are you coming home, son?" And the son says, "I don't know when."
Because his son left, his son grew
yeah,
up.
so basically his son grew up, and now it goes from telling the tale from the boy, now telling the tale from the father, and basically like the time went by. So like that song used to make me sad because I would think about my family. Now that song hurts me because now I'm thinking about like my daughters, you know, and that's why I try to spend like every waking moment that I can. I try to spend with them, like especially right now that they're younger, you know, that they want to be around me because let's face it, there's gonna be that time, you know, where like just leave me alone, Dad,
you know
or
what?
whatever.
That's funny. I used to say that to the kids too. Hang out, and I'm like, watch. One day you're not gonna want to like hang out and do all this kind of stuff, and that's kind of where it's at right now. You know, they're not as it's not read me a story anymore. It's not let's go do this, let's go do that. They're
Harry Chapin.
They
Chapin. That's a song. It's very emotional. Like it's because it's like I said, like it's the first
father and son and like different stages of life.
Literally the first line of the lyric says, "My child arrived just the other day. He came into the world like the usual way, but there were planes to catch and bills to pay." You know, so like he's like saying like
And you know what's crazy is that's the reason why I've had like different transitions of jobs because I always felt like some of my head like it matters. Being there as much as you can matters. I remember being in like labor jobs, construction jobs, like it just you get exhausted and you don't want to do shit.
Right.
Or even in non-construction, whatever, it's like, man, you get so exhausted, you're trying to work as much as you can, doing overtime, and you come home, you ain't ready. But it's like something I got, I think, like from The Rock and a couple other people is like, you're only, if you think about it, like your kids, if they go to school and whatnot too, that's like 8 hours, right?
Yep.
And then they sleep for like 8 hours. So 16 hours of the day are not you.
Yep.
The other 8 can be you, but if you're working or whatever, if you only have like an hour or two of them, that's like
it's not really even 8 hours though. It's really not, because let's just say you come back home 5 o'clock, right?
Yeah.
They've been home already, right?
Yeah.
So 5 o'clock they come
Yeah,
home,
and that's what I'm
right?
saying,
You
because
have
depending on your work schedule,
yeah,
so you only have so much time.
you basically only have, realistically, you only have 4 hours with them through your work day, because
if
they
you're
go
lucky.
they have to go to sleep early, to go to school. So you basically only have 4 hours with them. Like you have an hour to eat, and prepare if you're preparing food or whatever like that. Like that's what goes through my mind. This is why I never do anything I really try never to schedule anything during the weekdays, because that's like the time that I don't get to see them as much. Like Saturday and Sunday, those like that's my time.
Family
Like
time.
that's family time right there. Like
Yeah,
I'm not
for
gonna do
sure.
nothing. Like that's like I'm sorry. Like that's for my girls right there. Like that's just how it is. Because like me knowing how I am, like I want to be there with them as much as possible. Because like we've been saying, there's gonna be a time when they don't care. They're growing up. They want to be with their friends. Like that whole.
And then they won't understand. And even then, even if they did understand, at the end of the day, that just still means you're not going to be there with them, and they're not going to feel that love. Even if you support them, like cool, all we really need is like the minimum. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? But what they really need more is interaction, and being with you and
And
whatnot.
that's and literally on that song in the middle part, the kid's telling the dad, he's like, because dad's like, like let's go out, let's go fish. And then the son's like, well, not right now, but what I really would like is, the car keys, please, because he wants to go see his friends.
Yeah.
So like that's the that's the you had to listen to that song.
No, I know.
That
So,
song's
like,
you're gonna
I'll ask my daughter, my son, hey, you want to go do this? No, I'm all right. I'm gonna do this with my friends. I was like, damn, like it came. I kid you not, it came a whole lot sooner than I thought it was.
Yeah.
And that's why I was talking about this like a couple years ago, and now it's just all right. And then that shit stings. That shit hurts.
Yeah,
And it's
'cause-
like I don't want to guilt trip them into coming, but I know that's just gonna be a part of life, and
Yeah,
just-
I was talking to Mario from the Slightly Out Topic podcast on YouTube.
nice.
I was talking to him,
What?
and we were on YouTube, Slightly Out Topic podcast, also on Rumble. Thank you guys for listening to us live on Rumble. Once again, we are live on Rumble, Twitch, Kick, and on X. But we were talking about that, and he was literally telling me the same thing too, that because we had discussion also. He's like, because I recently bought this house, right? So I was telling him, I'm like I'm gonna try to like do some OT, try to get maybe like a part time to try to pay off the house faster, because me knowing me, like I want to try to pay it off as fast as I can, right? And he basically he's like, do you really have to? I'm like, I really don't have to. He's like, then don't. He's like, because he started talking about his kids, he's like, spend as much time as you can with them right now. He's like, because realistically, you only have like at least 8 solid years with them until then they start like not wanting to like do anything with you, and I'm all like I didn't want to accept it. I'm like, no, she's finally gonna get tired of me when she's like 30 or whatever like that, but that's not the reality, so yeah, that's one of my like, that's the area of my head that I hate going into. But like once in a while, I find myself in there, like especially like when a song comes up or whatever, like that has those lyrics. I'm like, yeah, I can't do that,
I got a playlist for you that'll probably make you cry. But yeah, it's the same thing. That's why I'm glad I kind of had some transitions in my job, because that's something I always thought about. Like if I worked graveyard shift, swing shift, all that stuff, and like I'm supposed to sleep in the morning, I'm like, damn, can't. Like I'll sleep for a little bit, but I'm like, while I'm around them, I try to be as much as possible and as active with them as possible. I did truck driving for a little bit, and man, that was depressing. If I would have stayed, I could have probably made hella money, but I already know the way that life is, and never be home, and I'm just missing everything. And
Right.
they move on, of course, without. But at the same time, it's like if you're not there, it's like them not.
Because they're not gonna see until they're already grown up. They're not gonna see the sacrifices you're making now.
Yeah, and I think the only other way to
they're basically gonna be like, you were never around.
And you know what? I'm gonna talk about that too right now. But like, if you have a partner, that might make it easier. Like a partner that's worked with you can explain what's going on, or still try to keep you involved, or whatever call it is. You can probably make it work. But other than that, it's extremely difficult.
Right.
What's funny is I actually had a like a one-on-one counseling thing today with somebody, and she brought that up on her end, is because we brought up the whole mother and father stuff, and we brought up like neglect, like I had a disagreement. I think I brought it up like 2 weeks ago, a couple weeks ago or more, with the roommate at a time, and we was talking about how if he had money, everything would be okay. Like if his life would have been different.
Right.
'Cause he's like, man, I'm tired of these rich kids or whatnot complaining about problems. They have all this money. And I was like, man, I was trying to keep my mouth shut. But I was like, no, man, like you're wrong.
That sounds like a certain somebody that doesn't like a certain band called Linkin Park because apparently, Chester never went through his trials and tribulations because he's a rich kid. Like he grew up rich. But
It's crazy.
I digress. Go
It's
ahead.
crazy. But I was like, you're wrong. And I was like, and I'm not to say that they had it worse than us, but the biggest thing, at least when it comes from if you had like a fatherless, motherless, household, I feel like is you kind of always had that hope that things would have been different if you had that stuff, right?
Right.
But there's a lot of rich kids that have the same problems, just different. Like a lot of the rich people have an image to portray, so they just show off like everything is cool, right? But especially in a two-parent household where they're always working and they're gone all the time, that means you have parents, but they're not there. So you don't have that hope of if I had my parents,
Right.
they would be there. They're not there.
The
They
nannies
have
basically
nannies,
or
or even not nannies.
parent.
You're doing your own thing and you can't do nothing. You have your mom and dad, and it's like they're choosing not to be with you.
right.
That all this other stuff matters. Whereas, us, like, yeah, we didn't have a choice, right? But there's no one else for them to get. You can't buy yourself a father or a mother. There's no hope of anything like that. And then
You can for
and,
an
and I
hour, but
told
that's
him, I
frowned
was
upon.
like, just like we got abandoned, they got abandoned. Just like we got neglected, they got neglected. The only thing is they got money, and it's different. But also the rest of the world, a lot of people in general are assuming that they're okay just because they have money, or
Right.
that they had both parents.
Right.
You can have both parents and not have your parents present at all, and that does a huge thing on you because he's like, I don't know why they turn to drugs and all this stuff. I was like, because of that. They don't like, so then they're going to become shitty parents because their parents weren't there.
Yep.
Hopefully not, I'm not saying all of them are going to do that. Just like,
Yeah.
come from where we
But I
came
mean,
from.
statistics showing like a vast majority,
Yeah,
like
everybody goes through the same thing. So you can share in common that your parents weren't there, but just because they had money doesn't mean they're that much different than us.
Right. Right.
And yeah, he was very upset, but I was like, man, it's, we have a lot of stuff like that in common. It doesn't matter, where you come from, everybody has the same issues. But the lady I was talking to today, she said she used to work a lot, do OT and all that. And then around like, I think when the son turned like 14, 15, she said, she asked him, what kind of mother was I? And he goes, are you sure you want to hear that? He's like, yeah, how good, like, how was I as your mom? And then he goes, are you sure you want to hear that? And she was like, that got me scared. I was a little upset. Like, why would you even say it like that? Or whatever the hell.
Right.
And he goes, you were a good provider. And she was like, what do you mean? He's like, you gave me everything I wanted. There was nothing that I needed. But you weren't there. You were always working. You were always gone. You gave me everything I wanted, but that stuff didn't matter.
Yeah.
And she's like, man, that hurt so much.
Yeah.
And she's like, I was kind of upset with him. Like, why didn't you tell me sooner? He's like, no, that's okay. Like, don't worry about it. He's like, no. She was like, no, you're right. Like, I wasn't there.
Yeah.
But thank you for telling me now. I'm going to do what I can now. And she's got, younger kids now. So she's doing her part to make sure she balances that work-life schedule. But,
Right.
She's like, it hit me right then, I was copying my dad because that's the way her dad was.
Yep.
It's to always work, just provide, but never be there, go through all the important stuff or whatnot. And I was like, damn, like,
Yeah.
it's true.
It's very true because before my kids, I was working crazy. Like I would all the OT I can get. I would help out my dad. I was always working. Like after my regular job, I would go work Saturday and Sundays, 12-hour days with my parents. Like I'm just always working. When my first daughter was born, I had to tell my dad, I'm like, I love you. I'm like, I'm done. I'm sorry. Like, like if you need help somewhere else, I'll try to help you here and there. But all these hours I'm doing, I can't do it anymore.
That's
I'm
good.
because it's true, like I learned from my parents my work ethic now, right?
Yeah.
But I also learned the lesson they never taught me, and that was be there for your children.
Yeah. And that's the same thing that I learned from like my mom. She was a super hard worker. And I didn't realize this till like months ago. I thought me and my mom was cool, even though I know we had like issues or whatnot. But I was in like a parenting class, and even like in a single parent household, he was talking about how he had problems with his mom, and he thought his mom was like perfect because she was there. But he was like, I realized something, like she was never there. She did provide. She always went to work and do all that stuff, but I had no relationship, and this is why I can't trust, women because they weren't there.
Yeah.
And I was kind of like, oh snap.
Right.
And I was like, I got mommy issues too. I was like, that's the same thing. We had like 5 people and always working overtime and had to raise yourself. because you don't have somebody there. You don't have nobody supporting you, nobody going to your stuff,
You
nobody
know what?
pushing you.
It's actually opposite. Like it's so weird that like you know how everybody's like, oh, she has daddy issues. She has daddy issues. A lot of guys have a shit ton of mommy issues.
Yeah, but
Like because that's where they gravitate to. Like the girls gravitate to their dads,
yeah,
and the guys
I
gravitate to
think
their
those are going to
moms.
be the major ones, but we have both, and that's what people see it. Like I have huge daddy issues.
Well,
And
yeah,
I
but
think
you know, but
when
like
you have daddy issues, and like especially them not being present, I think you get a lot of more of a authoritative figure issues.
right.
You don't want to listen, you can't trust
That's
men and
true,
all that
yep.
kind of stuff because you've never had that that man there present, that father figure present to rules, discipline, all that kind of stuff. But then with with women is the same thing. Like you have that neglect, so you kind of don't trust or you want more from them because you didn't have that when you were growing up.
Yeah.
And I was like, man, that's crazy. I was like, she did everything she could, which I
Isn't
respect.
it crazy
I was
how
like,
you kind of like?
but I was like, nobody pushed me for school, nobody supported me with anything, and it's kind of tricky and hard for me to do that myself. I want to do that, and I'm doing my best I can, as a parent. But I was like, holy shit, I didn't know that, and I ended up having a conversation with mom. It was an awkward conversation, but talked about it, acknowledged it, forgave her, because I understand, and she pretty much fed off. She didn't get that,
mm-hmm.
so that's kind of why she did it,
Right.
which is
because she can only teach what she's been taught.
exactly.
And that's like I said, like my parents, like my most valuable lessons that I've learned are the ones my parents haven't taught me because I had to learn that to myself. I had to look into myself to know,
Like what you said.
yeah, like I had to look into myself to see, like okay, let's take what they did teach me, implement it,
Exactly. Take
implement that into my life, but then at the same time, what I didn't like about them, don't do that. Like I said, it's not like the abandonment issues is not because they abandoned us, it's because they were always working. So I don't want like because we didn't grow up rich, we didn't grow up like with a silver spoon in our mouth, things like that. Like we struggled, like a lot of stories out there. Like you have to work your way up. The kids work. Literally as soon as I was helping out. I still remember as a young boy, I was helping out my mom in the grapes. Like I would go in the morning to go help her out. I loved that work. Like because why? Because it might sound dumb to people out there, but like I would go work at the grapes with my mom because I could spend time with her. So like I would do that right there. But yeah, that stuff like that, like I like now that I'm lucky enough to where I'm not struggling to live, I'm not gonna waste these precious moments that I don't have, like working to try to I don't know, like afford a nicer this, a nicer that, because
yeah, because all that stuff is irrelevant.
It
they
is,
don't
like,
care about it. I don't know about you, but have you bought your kids a heck of stuff that they just forget about and they move on to the next?
Always. Like I buy that all the time. Why? Because it gives me the gratitude, the satisfaction of like seeing them happy.
Yeah.
Even if it's for those 5 minutes that
When
they
really
use the
you
toy.
can get like a piece of paper or something small, do it with them. You can make it
Yeah.
the most
Yeah.
just by doing that.
And like that, and that's what I try to do. Like over here, I'm happy where I was able to move to because I was living in a really bad area. I moved over here where I'm at now. It's a lot more nicer. So I take my girls out to walk.
Yeah.
Like because like
There you go.
I would always walk like with my parents. My mom used to be a big walker. Like so we'd go walking. All that. And now I'm trying to implement that to my kids. I'm like on my days off. When I have my days off, we're going walking. Like there's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. You're gonna put away your tablet. You're gonna put away your phone. We're gonna go walk. We're just gonna go walk.
We used to do that. We used to have like heck adventures, and they don't have it anymore. So,
yeah.
but
And that's the one thing that I don't want them to like ever like get rid of because like it's that bonding time. I'm hoping that like the way how I'm trying to parent now is I'm hoping that like they would love to continue to do this with me.
Yeah.
Who knows later on down the road, but at least that's what I'm trying to install on them now. But yes, like I do buy them that one toy that is $20, and I know she's gonna look at it, she's gonna be happy. 10 minutes later, she's somewhere else doing something else. But it's just the fact
it's
that
hard
like
balancing out that
yeah.
no and also that if you do it. Cool.
I mean, I don't buy it all the time, but once in a while, I'm like, why not? I'm like, I don't need to be stingy with my money.
At least I try to make exactly. Don't want to be too stingy, but also trying to like to not spoil them. Make sure they earn it some type of way or something for like some reason. Like I always have to kind of remind us. It's not because I don't want to spend time or anything. I was like, I need you to know like this was earned, and I want you to earn it. Not just not to spoil you. But it's so hard being a parent.
Then that's why like I said, like Your kids are never gonna know until they're older. You know, everything, all the sacrifices that you've done, all the hard times, you know, where you had to punish them, where you had to yell at them and stuff like that. They're never gonna know until they're put in that situation. And then once they're put in that situation, you're gonna be like, damn, now I understand why. You know, and that's very depressing to think about.
Yeah, very much so. I think that's like another topic we should have got into, is the whole parenting thing. But I'm gonna get back in just to depression and talk about some different ways to cope, and kind of like how I did. All right, there's some examples right here. Build a support system. Acknowledge stuff. You know, friends, family, therapy. Definitely do therapy. I did like an overload of therapy, group therapy. You know, just talking stuff out, non-judgment zone. Being around people, almost like an AA meeting. You know, being around people that's been through stuff like that and is going through things. It makes you feel like you're not alone. You know, and you see different people's perspective of what they've been through. So maybe yours may not be as bad.
Yeah.
Drugs, like depression pills. I was so anti against that, and still kind of am. But you know, I had to take some. You know, you have to find the right dosage or the right one. But they don't fix it, I don't think. But they give you like a little tiny patch to just help you out. Cause like
until that's the very dark side about it though, because like you want that patch and then you can't feel it, so you want that patch again.
Well,
and then you start taking it. It
hasn't been like that.
It
hasn't been like that for me. I think that's
which I'm grateful for.
That
you know, but
that can be with any drug, and with a lot of
Yeah.
people that, you know, it's usually not the case. People do fall off, but I do, like, as someone that was against it, I definitely recommend just try it and do it right, because if it can help you out for a little bit, you know, until you do it, because I don't think when it comes to drugs and medicine, it's not a cure. You know, it's just a temporary patch, just kind of like, you know, weed and, you know, alcohol
Right.
or whatnot. But if it can help you and you're actually going to try to get better, cool. So I try to do a combination of that. I was like, I'm finally going to do it right, do therapy, work on myself, work out, do all that stuff, like trying to attack this from different angles instead of just relying on one, because I kind of feel like depression and all these things, they're just not going to go away. It's just a part of life, you know, and you have to do your best to kind of like acknowledge it, manage, like damage control kind of thing, and be able to live, like, you know. So I did that, and after a while it didn't help so much, but at least it helped like some super overbearing stuff. When I
But
did,
you see, that's the dangerous part right there. That after a while it's gonna start helping. So if you haven't learned how to manage on your own without the drugs,
that's
why
why
you're gonna
definitely do that too as well. Don't just use it as a fix, and that's what people do with all types of drugs. Just like you got diabetes or anything like that, cool, I'm just take pills. No, eat healthier, work out.
Right.
You know, smaller portions, everything.
That's why
drugs,
I'm very.
Drugs is just a temporary fix. It's just like a patch.
I'm very anti-drug. Like I really am. I don't smoke weed.
Yeah.
Like my only drug was basically alcohol.
Yeah.
You know, but I'm so anti-drug that like I would rather suffer with a headache than take Advil.
Yeah.
You know, than Tylenol and stuff like that.
I used to do the same thing with everything. You know, that's why I'm like, as long as you can use it right. But no, like when you do those things, there's just got to change your lifestyle. But it's definitely hard to do. Everybody knows that, which is why everybody, you know, chooses not to.
Right.
But it's the same, like, you know, like acid reflux, heartburn, all that stuff. You know, eat all that spicy stuff. I guess when you get older, you know, greasy stuff.
Right.
People are still gonna eat, you know, and they probably take pills just to get rid of that stuff. But yeah, I definitely jumped into that, which I'm very anti, you know, pills and medicine and all that kind of stuff. But I'm like, you know what? Just try it out. If I use it, cool. And then with a combination, everything else, it makes it a whole lot easier.
Yeah.
You know, sometimes I wouldn't take it or try something different or whatnot. But I mean, if it's going to help you, why not? You know, especially with a combination of stuff. But do not, you know, run away from attacking it. Definitely recommend therapy, psychotherapy to dig deeper, but group therapy to let it out, and just call friends, be around people, let people know about what you're going through that you can trust and whatnot. You know, that having a support system makes it so much easier.
Yeah.
And actually being honest, you know.
Yep.
Acknowledge these things.
You can't dance around it. Like dancing around it, you never get to the point. You're gonna be like, you're never gonna fix it.
Too many people do that, man, and it's just all you're doing is delaying it or make it even worse. And then you're probably gonna have a sense of self-hate because you're ignoring yourself.
Right.
You know, you really want to get better. I think exercising definitely helps too as well. You feel better. It distracts you from your mind, from being in your own thoughts.
It just
You know?
makes you feel good. Like
Yeah.
if you guys are out there and you're having this depression cycle and stuff like that, and like you feel like you can get out, just try it. And if you haven't worked out, try it.
Even just walks.
Go
Like,
outside,
just
walk, like turn off your devices, get off of social medias, go out in nature and just breathe. Like that does so much wonders to clear your head. And like it's
And you feel
simple,
great.
sometimes simple things like that. Like a lot of the times it's because of social media.
Yep.
You know?
Because you get caught up too, and then that stuff can be depressing. You're over here watching people's lives, probably comparing, like we mentioned before, comparing all that kind of stuff, and it just brings you down. You get expectations, comparisons, when
Not
you
only
can be
that,
living your own life.
Not only that, you can also be like, for instance, watching videos from the war and watching a bunch of dead kids and stuff like that, and you're over here in your feelings because like, what can you do to help out? You can't do nothing. Like social media is a very dangerous and poisonous thing. Like we had a discussion not too long ago about cyberbullying on the podcast a long while ago, and the most simple way how to stop cyberbullying: turn off the Wi-Fi. Don't be on it. Like
Stop promoting.
My children, they're not gonna have social media accounts until like shit. They're like basically 18. They're not. I'm not gonna allow it. I see what it does.
Yeah, mine don't. And I hear of like the other kids talking about they have Snapchat and all that stuff. I heard like a girl talking to a boy like, "Oh, I know you be watching my Snapchat. I don't know, that's weird. Why are you doing all that?" And I'm like, dude, they're like 9 and 10 years old. Like, why are they doing that?
Yeah, no, my children are definitely not gonna have social medias. I don't care. Oh, but it's the normal thing. It's what everybody's doing. I don't care. Let them follow the herd. Let them follow the stuff. Like, that's cool. Like you do how you want with your kids. I'm gonna raise my kids another way. If they are like,
even if it's different, you have people that'll say stuff like, I had people like, no, why did you do that? Why are you keeping away? Like, I try to keep them in their generation, to an extent, because it's their generation. But if there's something I disagree, I'm like, no, like it doesn't matter. People can
right. I'm not gonna keep them away from technology. They're gonna know about technology. They're not gonna be on social media though.
Yeah,
that's the one thing.
They also
like
need to like moderate.
Right. Exactly. Like because it can be anything, and like
parents do like. I think that's why a lot of people have a lot of kids, even more so nowadays, have ADD, because parents just put them in a tablet or a device and don't spend time with them because then they're like acting out. It's like, why? Because they're not getting that attention from mom and dad like they're supposed to.
Right.
They're being raised by everybody else. And like, oh my God, why are you acting out? Because you're not giving me the attention I need. One of the things that people don't really realize too is sleep. Like, you have to get sleep. I know it's hard getting sleep nowadays anyway. But
I wish I would have gotten sleep. I have like in these last 2 days, I think I only have like a consecutive like 5 hours of sleep in total. So
and that stuff's horrible, man. Like, especially because of social media and devices. And like, oh, I can't sleep. But if you're on your device late at night, turn that stuff off. Turn TVs off. Like I think I forgot where it was, but you should try to turn off, electrical devices that have like blue light and all that stuff, like an hour or two, before you go to bed. Because
I try that. I can
kind of mess with you, but just fight it. Man.
Yeah,
just fight it.
I have to
get up in the middle of the night. Like, just go back to sleep. And let me get on my phone real quick.
That's the one thing that I have trouble with. Also, I'm like, I lay on my pillow. 10 minutes in, I'm like, well, I guess I can't sleep. So get up and get on your phone.
It's gonna make you irritable and all that stuff, and make you all sad. You're fatigued all day. Everything's gonna be over amplified. So definitely do that. Relax whenever you can. I think I talked about it like a month or so ago, but some of that cognitive behavioral therapy, just acknowledging stuff, meditating, like relaxing. I think I mentioned like breathing. When your thoughts are overwhelming, just breathe. Focus your attention on other stuff. Smell something. Like, use your senses.
Right.
To like, whenever you're feeling all that crazy sadness or whatever, just listen to something, watch something, describe it, say these things out loud, acknowledge this stuff, talk out loud. I know it sounds crazy, but talk out loud how you're feeling, why you're feeling.
You can talk out loud all you want, but just don't start talking to like a stop sign, and trying to fight it. And then,
they said you can do that, but just don't talk back to yourself.
Right.
Which, I think I've done it a couple times, so, whatever. But yeah, just say these things out loud, acknowledge these feelings, and then just try to move past them, try to understand them. When I it's been a while, because I think I've been handling it a whole lot better, but I try to at least when I start spiraling, kind of like that, you work out or just, I'll put myself on blast. I'll say it out loud. All right, no. Try to spin into a positive. You think about a sad situation or something that happened, try to, I try to get cheesy, the whole silver lining thing. All right, how do I turn that into positive? Like, man, this isn't that happened. If you went through something shitty, just think of it as now you got stronger. You know what I'm saying? Like, there's a reason this happened.
Yep.
now I know what to look out for. If there
Yep.
was red flags, I avoided them. Now I know what to look out, for these red flags and what's going to probably happen. So see everything that you went through as a positive. Like you should already be stuck, done with all that stuff that's already happened. Now try to, gain from it the positive route. And that stuff really, really, really helps, and that whole, I think I got it from Z too as well. That helped me out a lot is the whole words of affirmation, being as positive as you can, telling yourself good things and not the bad things. As soon as you start telling yourself bad things and thinking bad things, cut it out. You know what I'm saying? And then switch it into good, because we feed ourselves. Our words are powerful. What we tell our mind, all that stuff is very, very powerful. And if,
I feel like I'm the opposite. Like I have to talk shit about myself in order to be better than myself.
and I think because we were kind of like raised differently and we're a little messed up.
Yeah.
'Cause I was like that for a while,
Like if like the way to
intense.
encourage me is not be like, oh, like you can do it, this and that. No, like I have to be like,
and
you
I
have to be
think-
like, go fat ass,
I
go
think-
to the gym. Like you're a piece of shit. Like that's how to encourage me. Like I don't, when you try to talk nice to me and like like you got this and stuff like that, I just find it annoying as shit. I'm like, I don't need you to sweet talk me like this. Like the only way I'm gonna listen is I need the hard truth reality of like, hey, put that pizza down, fat
See, and
ass,
I feel
stuff like
I
that.
feel like that's another thing. I think it's because we're fucked up. You know what I'm saying?
It
'Cause
could be that. It
shit
honestly
used
could
to
be
help
that.
too. So it's like, man, I have to be in a shitty situation or say all this crazy shit for that to happen, and it makes it hard. I think, expressing stuff in relationships, all that stuff, when you can't do it the other way,
Yeah.
because you can only speak that way. So that's going to be kind of how you want to speak to your loved ones.
Right.
So I think that's just because of the way we grew up and the whole love thing. That's why it makes it even harder to do all that stuff. But that is something that we need.
Right,
But
yep.
I'm not saying like you definitely do that every once in a while in a different way. Like, it can just be as simple as like, man, you got this. Don't give up. Like, don't quit. But instead of you got to like belittle yourself, that just kind of shows you how fucked up you are. You have to.
That's how I have to be.
Yeah.
I'm like you have to do this, you piece of shit. I'm like, you're stronger than that. Like what the hell? Like you can't even do this. You can't even do that. Like that's how I get encouraged to do stuff. And I know a lot of people are like that. And it's weird because like it's just mainly men that like because it's basically like how we grew up.
Yeah.
But like to me, like I can't.
Yeah, and
if
that's how a
if
lot
my
of men
homie
talk
starts
to each
talking to
other
me
and all
like
that
that,
stuff, too.
like my homie starts to like be like, oh, you got this, think positive, think through it. I'm like, dude, shut the hell up. I'm like, and
Can
it's
you
not 'cause
do
I'm-
that, but yell at me and degrade me a little bit?
at least like save the lovey-dovey stuff. Like I want to hear that from my wife. I don't want to hear from somebody that knows my struggles. Like she knows my struggles too and all that, but like it's just different. She's there to encourage me, empower me, love me. My friends are there to tell me the hard truths that I need to hear. Like somebody that truly loves you and knows you, they're gonna be like, hey, like you're gaining weight, you're doing this, you're doing that. Like they need to give you that hard truth. Like with your loved ones, they're gonna sugarcoat it a little bit because they're your loved ones. They don't want to hurt your feelings. So
I think that's the thing. Like it should be a combination of both. You definitely like usually I think in the beginning of things, not saying lovey-dovey or whatnot, but it's kind of a soft blow because usually somebody's going through stuff. Let them vent, do their thing.
yeah.
Then you hit them with that truth. Because usually when you hit people with the truth, they run away.
Cause I
and
tried to
get
do that with
all
my
upset.
wife on how she's gaining weight, but I shouldn't have been throwing donuts at her. Maybe now thinking back at that, that's probably a little bit rough.
Just a little bit.
Okay, just
Is that why you sleep in here?
that's kind of is why I have to move this table out of the way and pull out the futon. But I mean, look at the silver lining. I get a bed to myself.
Let's see. I know. Trying to see if there's anything I can touch on real quick. I had a couple things jotted down. Sorry. Give me a second.
Oh, it's all good.
I think I did. Yeah, the cognitive behavioral therapy, definitely that's one. The positive self-talk, definitely got to do it. I think if you got to do that crazy talk for a while, definitely do that. But I think that's just for motivating to do other stuff. But other than that, like you got to give yourself a pat on the back. You think about everything that you've done.
I give myself a pat on the back. Like when I give her the best 2 minutes of her life, like bro, always pat myself on the back. Yep.
2 times longer than last time. But no,
Exactly.
like, if you ever feel like you haven't really accomplished anything, I think you're probably comparing yourself to, other people, but think about what you've done, where you've come from. Like you've done great things. Now it doesn't mean stop and be complacent or anything like that, but definitely acknowledge what you've done. Don't be so hard on yourself. Create a routine. That's something that I've been, trying to help out with. Just a small little thing, words of affirmation or doing something for yourself. And like I was mentioning earlier before, like the outlet, like getting back into your hobbies, whether it's art, drawing, skating, dancing, whatever, do something for you And if you don't have a hobby, make one. There's so many things we can do out there. Experience it, enjoy yourself. Just do whatever you can. Just do something different. But I'm gonna go ahead and leave it at that, and we'll let
Once again, guys, please, if you are feeling some type of way, like we discussed earlier, go for it. We discussed earlier, don't do it. Not worth it. Or no, you're not worth it. Okay, no, you're definitely worth it. But definitely don't do it. And once again, the National Suicide Prevention Hotline is 988. If you guys ever feel like you need to reach out to them, give them a call, give one of your best friends a call, like talk to the people that are the most closest to you. Give them a call. Actually talk to them. Feel like don't hold back. Don't sugarcoat it. Don't lie about it. Just actually speak your mind, speak your feelings. If you have the good circle around you, they will give you advice because they know you the best. It's better than trying to talk to somebody through a hotline, through a phone. Like, that should be like one of the last resorts. But once again, like reach out to somebody, talk to them. It's gonna get better. It definitely is. So with that right there, if Z would want to go ahead and do the next transition to the next topic.
Oh, hey.
Oh, hey, and he's back.
Oh, sorry. All right. Shoot. What was I supposed to do?
You're trying to, do a little.
Hey, welcome to the next segment. Give me one. And we're back from.
Were you trying to check out?
Oh, that was weird.
Were you trying to check out the new movie cast?
Huh? Yeah, sure. Okay. So, I'm not gonna talk bad about anything that just happened. Everybody
Was it because you were definitely paying attention?
Yeah, sure. I'm not sure what the last topic was. Hopefully, very helpful for you people out there. Okay. Ever notice how things happen in the world, and many call it a conspiracy theory? You look up into the stars and you see 2 suns instead of 1.
Oh no.
You see 3 moons instead of 1.
Oh no.
You see the firmament over the earth.
I don't know what that is. Oh.
Neither do I. Neither do they. People get sick, and all of a sudden they want you to be vaccinated. Then afterwards, the food is vaccinated. And then, I just remember like 10 years ago, somebody made a comment on a TED Talk that you wanted to see the world's population decrease. And now this and all this and this and this and this.
Can you say who that somebody is?
And all this is very weird. Some people would call it a conspiracy theory. Other people would call it a coincidence.
Ooh, coinkydink. I like to say coinkydink.
Coinkydinks, which isn't a real word, but okay.
But is anything so? What would classify it as a real word? What words are real and why not this one?
They're widely used in the dictionary.
Coinkydink is
and well defined
used
throughout an entire region and area, not just a region and area, but throughout the world.
Coinkydink is used worldwide in English
what does it
speaking.
Mean?
It means coincidence. Does it not?
No.
You've never used coinkydink.
No.
You're such a liar.
I just did it right now. I just repeated it.
Yeah, so you used it.
But not in that way.
And you acknowledge what it is because when I say it, you know what I'm talking about.
Yeah, but when I said it, I meant like stupid.
Yeah, but so when you go order chicken nuggies, you know what we're talking about. That's a universally worldwide used word. So it is a word.
I'll make sure that during this segment, we zoom into the eye on that cup where Tenna was sitting.
Can you put like the X-Files theme song, or do I have to manually?
You might have to do it for right now.
Oh no!
Oh my God, you knew where it was. All right, so what is a coincidence? What do you think it means when you hear the word coincidence? What do you think of?
So when I hear the word coincidence, it would be like, let's just say I'm thinking about texting my wife good morning, and as I grab my phone to do that, she sends me a good morning text first. That would be a coincidence. Be like, hey, I was gonna do that already. Or it would be like, you're thinking about a movie, and you go on Netflix and you put on, and you're thinking about the movie, but like you go on Netflix and like right there, the first recommendation is that movie. That would be my version of a coinkydink.
Okay, that's actually pretty close to what it
say coinkydink.
It's pretty close to what the Webster Dictionary defines it as. Yeah. So essentially, it's an occurrence of two or more events happening together by chance without any apparent or underlying cause or connection. So that's what the base definition of a coincidence is. Again, two or more events happening together by chance without any apparent underlying cause or connection. You know, there's another thing that you can think of. There's three other things that we can remember about them. Coincidences are not generally planned or caused by any deliberate action, so it can't be anything that the CIA is involved in. They may
Or is it
seem
really
surprising,
MK Ultra?
or it could be MJ. You know what? I'm not going to rule that out
Boom.
because it could be.
Was that a quinky dink? We don't know.
Maybe. So they seem to be, they may seem surprising or unusual due to the way they align with current events. And there is no underlying connection between the events and themselves. This is what people refer to as deja vu, as Mandela effect, as possibly a soft and hard, deliberately made connection to what somebody refers to as a conspiracy theory.
Can I tell you what my version of deja vu is? And
Only if you answer this question,
go for it.
and I have to like the answer. Were you vaccinated?
No.
All right, so we move on. So we think about the coincidence in this
I
way.
go, yes, you go. Then we move on still.
Yeah, it wasn't going to work either way. Coincidence! You might bump into an old friend from school in a completely different city that you're visiting for the first time, and this would be considered a coincidence because the chances of you encountering them specifically at this location purely by accident, it's very low, very low.
Like I bumped into somebody I met at the gym like 4 times.
Doesn't count if you're stalking them. But I see what you're saying.
Nah,
So,
Does it count if they don't know you're stalking them?
that's true.
well, for
It's
them,
a coincidence for them.
that's true. For them, it would be. You're very right. You can make coincidences for them.
There you go.
But a true coincidence is
Or
nothing
like a
like
true stalker.
that. Right. Well, a true fan, whatever you want to call it. There's 5 things or 3 key things that I wanted to cover. But before that, I wanted to go ahead and open it up. What's the last coincidence that you remember happening to you, Demonic? Let's start with that.
My last coincidence that
Great
I
story.
remember
So-
happening would have to be. It would have to be. I was gonna text my homie and we are gonna talk about working on my truck, and we put a timeline of or a date and time of when we're going to work on the truck. So I got up in the morning and I wasn't feeling it, and as soon as I text him like, hey, instead of 3, let's do like 5. As soon as I hit send, I instantly receive the message from him saying, hey, let's work on the truck a bit later. And that's like the creepiest shit, like, because we do that often a lot. I don't know, like the universe is saying that we were meant to be together, you know, and plus he's packing really big meat. So like I feel like it's meant to be together. But that's the last like coincidence that has occurred to me.
Well, it explains why you became a meat eater. But
Exactly.
okay. So, Tana, what's the last coincidence that you can remember happening to you recently? Awesome. That's really good. You guys both have really good stories.
Right? Super. Nah, that's the only one I can think of is the gym encounter one that I told you about. Like we bumped into like 3 or 4 times. Like I think both got into a wreck or an accident and met. Was at the same rental and then like at a store, and then like the farmers market, which that one wasn't so much so coincidence. But
Especially
I
if they work there.
yeah, but the other ones though, yeah, I was like, oh, that's
Especially if
weird.
you know their schedule.
Well, I mean, they tell me.
Well, that's
Nah.
weird. You're working here for 8 hours and your
Oh,
wife's all by herself.
right? It's
How do you know
crazy.
that? Well, just I don't know actually.
But other than that, I can't think of nothing on top of my head. I think it's something I'll let you know. But yeah.
Okay.
What
So-
about you?
So the concept of a coincidence itself isn't widely debated by scientists or academic people. But
Right.
there is this thing that circles all coincidences. There's a hint, and the magic word is randomness. It has to be so random for them to consider it a true coincidence, even though that's not the actual definition of it. But many people, when they think of it, it has to be something really random. You have to be thinking about, man, wouldn't it suck if I got fired today and you walk into the office and, wow, what a coincidence. I was just thinking about this would happen. Or I was just thinking my kids one day are going to grow up and get older. And then, wow, what a coincidence. They're getting older. So there is some things that don't count as coincidences, right? And you guys both mentioned really good experiences about what coincidences happened to you. Let's think about 3 things, 3 points to consider. Before we get into the first one, one extra piece I wanted to cover. The idea of this randomness. Some people chalk it up to destiny, some people to fate, some people to God, some people to the devil if it's a bad thing that happened to you. Like you get discovered with a bunch of gigs of something else you're not supposed to have. It's the devil that did it.
What is that? What is those gigs? Can you please enlighten us?
Sure. So you're not supposed to have Lego videos outside of the Lego corporation's view.
What does that mean?
People out there on Reddit know. So those randomnesses get sometimes associated with the higher power or another thing that might influence the things that are happening. Again, coincidences sometimes can also become conspiracy theories if people are not careful. They see clouds in the sky after behind their ship, and they're like, chemtrails.
Happens a lot in sports.
I'm like, what's the reason why they would have chemtrails? Well, because they want to thin the population out. I'm like, wouldn't it be faster just to kill everybody? Like, you could just go into a town and blow everything up. Like, you don't have to do it this way. Well, but then it's going to wake up other people. I'm like, yeah, sure, okay. So, there's just some things that don't make a lot of sense. The ideas generally fall outside of the realm of the mainstream science, and often, because they're outside of the mainstream science, they dive into the philosophical or the mystical. So again, this is where you have the idea of people looking. I'm glad you guys look at the camera, but
It's kind of like how we're paying attention,
like horoscopes. You know, those are all ideas. Like if you were born on this month, coincidentally, you're going to have a personality that just to be more.
What a coincidence! You're more of a dick. We're staring the way he was staring.
I know that's weird, huh?
Well,
there you go. That's a coincidence.
I don't. It's weird that I wish I had a camera on me, but I don't. So you guys do.
You could.
Well, you chose to.
You can pay attention to the host.
Yeah, sorry.
Yeah, and especially when I'm trying to transition to the third topic, and
so when we make clips out of this, and you guys are staring down when I do the audio and the video clips,
then you probably shouldn't use these clips.
Yeah, this is gonna suck because it's a really interesting topic that could definitely help us all out.
Do you want me to respond to our fans or no?
You can respond to them by looking at them.
There's 2 of them. Come on.
In their heart. So,
all right, go on.
The first thing that can really play into a coincidence is confirmation bias, and this is something that both of you highlighted and didn't really become fully aware of it. So confirmation bias is, again, the idea that humans naturally tend to pay more attention to events that seem coincidental. And I shouldn't have said it that way, but I did. While overlooking the countless of unrelated events that happen every single day. This can lead to a confirmation bias, where we overestimate the frequency and significance of coincidences.
Like a whole bunch of things happen. I'm like, man, what a coincidence. No, it was a series of events that led up to that.
Yeah, or just they're happening all the time around you. Like you're thinking about your son or daughter, and they call you. You're thinking about what time it is, and you're like, oh, it's exactly the time I was thinking of. There's all these little coincidences that we don't pay any attention to. But then we think of
the same thing happened yesterday.
Yeah, right, or that too. And then we think about maybe a partner, a female or male that you like. And they message you like, "Oh my God, this is destiny."
Thinking about you too.
This is wow. This is crazy.
5 o'clock.
This was meant to be. You knew this is my lunch at 12. How did you know that I was going to be available? Like, confirmation bias plays into our belief systems.
Got your whole agenda.
Whether this be psychological, philosophical. Again, people go through
manipulative.
Yeah, or depression. All sorts of things. People look for signs. And they tend to believe deeper into something that isn't actually happening.
Like a book.
And ignore the things that are really happening based off of coincidences. And again, confirmation bias. So the first is confirmation bias, okay? The second is one that a lot of girls that love rubies and don't shave their armpits love. And I'm sorry if that's you, and if you're feeling offended, shave your armpits. Interconnectedness. What does interconnectedness mean? Before I read the definition, do any of you want to take a stab at it? Or are you listening out there?
I'm concentrating on the camera.
Yeah, maybe the camera. You can answer to the camera. That's no problem.
That's really weird trying to focus on the camera.
I
wonder how actors are.
Right. Except we're better than them in every single way.
I agree.
Yeah, I agree.
Except
what a weird coincidence.
Boom.
I was thinking of that too. Except for Keanu Reeves. What a weird coincidence that we all thought about the same person. It's almost like something happened in the background in order to cause that to.
So would you say Interstellar?
Right. Yeah.
Interconnectedness.
Where you can tap into other people's mindset by, I don't know, humming at a certain frequency.
Okay. That's not bad. Humming.
I like that.
Okay.
what? Like
It's absolutely wrong, but it's nice.
It's not wrong. It is my opinion, and my opinion is correct to me.
Yes, and it's wrong to everyone else. Okay,
That's
good.
fine.
What do you think?
the state of being connected with each other.
Why answer? You know he's gonna belittle you.
What a stupid set of answers. Let me tell you guys the real answer.
I'm at the dictionary.
Some
Oh,
philosophical.
so you're right.
Yeah, the interconnected things, connectedness of all things in the universe. The state of being
Excellent.
connected with each other.
Excellent. I'm glad that came out of your heart. So now we
Off
think
top,
of
off top.
interconnectedness
What a coincidence! I had
Is-
it pulled up.
is some
You had it pulled
philosophical and spiritual viewpoints propose that the universe is inherently interconnected. So
Why
some
are you
people
talking like that? They can't see you.
No, I don't need them to see me. I need you guys to see this right behind the camera so you know where to focus on.
Oh,
There
okay.
you go. Keep doing it.
So
Keep it.
interconnectedness is again the inherited belief that some philosophical groups and some spiritual practitioners believe that the universe is inherently interconnected. In other words, that all the seemingly random events are not as random as they may appear. In fact, they involve a higher power, which is what I mentioned earlier about the idea of having a universal consciousness. So not to attack that viewpoint, but we don't know. Yet people can have this belief. And this is one of the things that people confuse a coincidence with, right? They don't want it to be random because at the end of the day, a coincidence is technically randomness. And randomness is only random to a person that has no knowledge of the event. For everyone else, if you planned it, it's just a planned operation. For the ones that didn't, it's a random act.
What's crazy is some people react differently. Like, you know,
Right. So if someone runs up to you and
they-
stabs you, you're like,
they-
oh my God, this is so random. But the guy already thought about it.
it's a little excessive. It's more like just
I
bumping
like
into
extremes.
somebody.
Who doesn't?
Some of them want it to be on purpose. You know, some of them don't want it to be. And
Yeah.
God, this is so
Like
crazy.
you randomly, you purchased Chipotle
God, this
or
must
Taco
be-
Bell,
this
and
must-
you knew that you were going to have to take a dump right before your job interview. And then you show up there like, oh, this is so random, guys. I'm so sorry I have to cut the interview
Oh my
early.
God, this must be. It was meant to be. You know.
Yeah,
you just bumped
exactly.
into me.
Yeah. But
3
you can stalk her
times.
for like a month ahead and be like,
Yeah.
hey, do you like Kid Rock by any chance? And she's like, well, I love Kid Rock. Do you love the Middle East? I hate the Middle East. Meat? What? That's
Nuclear? Are
random.
you in favor of nuclear war?
What? Or do you just want to stand there and hug everybody and make sure it doesn't happen? So randomness can come from different places. But it's not really random, right? Because someone else might have already planned something without you knowing. So interconnectedness is the idea that a higher power is in control of those aspects and that the universal consciousness takes over and handles those situations. Is it true? Possibly. Most likely not, but possibly. It's up to you if you want to believe in that. So confirmation bias can play a role into it. Interconnectedness can play a role to it. And the last one that most people hate because it requires us to have a higher than third level education. So, and if you take offense to that out there, if you guys are listening, watching on your YouTube tablet or whatever it is that you're doing,
Ask us for his information. We'll give it to you for the right amount of money.
and again, the people that
$3.
love peace are always the ones that promote it. So it's the
$3.
funniest. It's the funniest thing about people standing on their morals.
Did anybody say anti-peace or to do anything crazy? No, right? I just wanted to give people information so they can talk
Well,
to you.
I don't
about
know
it.
why you're.
I just wanted you to make peace with
I don't know
them
why
in
you would
person.
connect that to yourself
I
because
just
I
want-
wasn't speaking about you. I was speaking
I-
about the listeners out there.
No, I'm just saying. I
But it's
wanted them to
funny
make peace with them.
how
It's
sometimes
not about
words
me.
just
I
fit right.
I just want them to connect with you
Oh, I get, yeah, and you can want
Peacefully.
them to connect to you
peacefully.
personally and only.
I'm
if
gonna
you
give
want.
them. I'm gonna give them my information. So
That's
that-
great.
so that
I
can give
choose
them
not to.
yours.
So if you want to, I mean,
Hey,
you know, the thing about
hey,
you being
hey,
peaceful.
Calm down. Relax.
The thing I love the most
Bro, relax.
about peaceful countries
Guys,
is that the moment you call
Bro,
them out for
can you
like
tell them to
enslaving
relax?
others, they
Huh?
get.
tell them to relax, please.
Relax.
Relax. He's up there.
So think about it.
Your voice is this high right now.
Yeah.
Think about it
Right.
though.
do better.
There-
Your
there is-
testosterone levels are very low.
I
Bring
know
them back
that
up.
is true. That's why I got the CIA.
He's scaring me.
So think
I'm
about
scared.
some country, some leaders, the people that speak about promoting
I have
the
a gun
peace.
right there.
They were the first ones to break their own
do
belief
that
system.
manipulative thing. Make him do it himself.
Here's how like emotional systems prevent people from being reasonable. The moment something seems like it's attacking them, they feel a sense of needing to shell up and defend, even when nothing was coming their way. But statistics. That's right.
Statistics? So what about the ticks?
The ticks is what I have down here. Says statistical fluctuations is the third point of randomness, or what we are covering today, coincidences. In the realm of probability, and this is for you guys to keep in mind, okay? Even the most unlikely of events are bound to happen occasionally or just by chance. This doesn't necessarily negate the idea of a coincidence, but it highlights the importance of considering the statistical testicles connect context. So to statistical context before.
Why'd you write that
attributing-
word? Why'd you put that
and
word
actually
down?
wrote it that way too. That's the funniest part because I knew it was tripping me
What
up.
a coincidence. He keeps making. He keeps
What?
messing up.
Statistical context before attributing significance to a specific occurrence needs to be thought and handled. When you think of a car accident, you think this is such a random thing. Like, it's total chaos. I would have never expected this. But if you look at your driving history and the way that maybe you do or do not pay attention at certain times of the day, or recklessness or lack of recklessness, it's not as random as it appears, right? The statistical fluctuation or the chance that it would have happened sooner or later is very high for someone that is technically a bad or, maybe aggressive driver.
Asian?
Yeah, sure. When we think about all these things, we don't also consider the verifiable evidence. So then we chop it up. And the only reason I'm bringing this up today is because over the last couple of weeks, we've been seeing a lot of signs that things are going to go most likely south in the month of March at some point, or April.
South to Mexico?
And we know that in April, there's going to be a lunar eclipse, which a lot of people or certain communities are attributing to the signs of the time, in which is like the perfect time for occult or secret societies to come out and do their deeds. And there's
like 2012.
right, sure. So like,
Yeah,
there's
Y2K.
a lot of things that people attribute to things that have no connection whatsoever. Sometimes there is a connection there. Sometimes there isn't. Like people stop eating pizza because of Pizzagate. But all this stuff
Is
happens.
that really a thing?
Yeah.
No, that was nobody stopped eating pizza because pizza.
A lot of people did on Reddit. Maybe they started doing it
They
again. I don't
said
know.
it. It must be true.
It must be. So coincidences and randomness. In our lives, we're surrounded by it all the time. Think about how many times you've attributed things.
How do you pronounce that word right there?
Statistical?
Dictionary.
Oh, you have your volume down. Okay, sorry.
I
Pictionary.
got you.
So that's the beautiful thing. That randomness is always going to be around us. We can chop up everything that happens in our life, whether it be the way that we grew up, whether it be the way that we understand information now, to pieces of our past, which there could be. But again, statistically speaking,
So are you saying you believe in
is the stream black? Screen?
It is.
And,
so you're saying everything's predestined?
and it's still black screen.
No, it's cool on my end. What do
We
you
are having difficulties out there.
Black screen.
We are probably still.
And we're back. Okay.
And we're back.
For people listening on Spotify, nothing's changed besides the silence in between those seconds. But for everyone else, nothing's changed either. It's probably a sign that my time got
what a
cut
coincidence.
short again.
What a coincidence.
Oh, I don't even get my full time again. All right, that's awesome. So coincidences is what it is. Sometimes randomness, sometimes dicks that just act out of control, and then we end up losing our freedom or whatever. Shit happens, is what they say in the South. So coincidences is just what it is. We wanted to talk about. I wanted to cover a little bit of conspiracies, but we won't have the time for it. So we're just gonna say coincidences are random events. Statistically,
Were you trying to get into what you believe March is going to be?
Yeah, but we're not gonna have to. But anyways,
Just lay it out. So
you had a chance to think about deep subjects during this episode. I really hope you enjoyed it. We'll expand on coincidences or randomness in later time. We did cover randomness at another episode a long time ago, so it's out there. So that's good. But as we go forward, appreciate the things you have. Randomness is there. We don't know what can happen, but the best thing you can do is try to educate yourself on all the different things that can occur throughout your day. Don't feel overwhelmed by it, but just take the time to see what's most likely and most possible to happen, and then take matters to your hands to be able to control or avoid issues or avoid outcomes that you don't want.
Would you say world events are random issues?
To some is random. Some people you ask on the street in certain territories, in certain neighborhoods, like, do you think this is gonna happen? I don't know. I don't care. And that's an Asian guy for sure. So I don't got no idea. I don't care. So you think of whatever you want. But if you don't know what's being planned, it's going to seem like a conspiracy because it technically is to you, or you did not educate yourself on a certain subject, so it's always going to be random. If you think that putting your hand into like a tiger cage is going to result in you petting a tiger and not it getting bitten because you never thought of that possibility, You're going to be like, isn't that a random coincidence? Isn't that a random thing that just happened to me? A horrible thing that God allowed for it to happen? Or someone else can sit there and be like, that's very obvious. Haven't you seen videos? Haven't you read? Don't you understand what these lions do? So knowledge is very important. It keeps the mystery. It removes the mystery from a lot of mental, psychological, and emotional components, especially emotional.
So I feel like take things with a grain of salt sometimes.
No,
you know.
don't even take the grain of salt. Learn about the things that you're taking, or the things happening, because there's different viewpoints. I'm not gonna open up a can of worms from any of the past segments. If that works for people, great. I think I have a very different, stark viewpoint on things. But for this, I just wanted people to think.
Really?
I know. Who would have thought? Coincidence. It's very random. So I hope people get a chance to educate themselves on things. If you don't know something and you're afraid someone will belittle you for it, that's a good sign that you should study up.
End the podcast?
And end the podcast. So there goes my 10 minutes. All right, so I hope you guys enjoy. And
That was 20 plus
we were
minutes.
live.
I had a timer.
We were live on all the socials. So YouTube's, X, Rumble, Kick, Twitch. If you guys want to follow us, you can follow us on our X page. We'll have links to the other podcasts that both of you are proudly leading. So those of you that want to listen to more of that can. And of course, as always, look at the